welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest episode of Game Rivals. I am one of your hosts, Maximilian, and as always, with me is the Nathan to our Drake, the man who always finds the hidden treasure. It's Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
I'm good. I don't know what that was. I'm good. How are
I don't.
you?
I was trying to go for a obviously for an Uncharted thing, and then I kind of choked.
You could have gone with he's the Nathan to Sully or something like that.
Yeah, I probably could
Yeah,
have
it's
done
okay.
that.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a okay. It's I'm good now. It's been a very long couple of weeks for me in work. It's been super tiring, but we are here again.
It feels
We are
like ages ago.
recording. It does feel like ages, even though
Yeah,
it's been like 2 weeks,
I know,
right?
but it feels like it's been months.
I think it's because a lot of news dropped,
Yeah, probably.
and I don't like. There's like way too much stuff dropped that I wasn't even able to keep like an eye on or like even be like, okay, is this like interesting enough news to talk about?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do our best, but if we miss a couple of news things this time, for one, it's not the first time we've done that, and two, we are literally recording this episode. Literally goes out the day of a state of play, which thank you Sony for that.
I would
Um,
I would say like at least
but
I
it's
hope people tune in to this not to hear the news here first, but more like to get our take on the news. Because
I'm
then you'd be living
assuming.
under a rock. I mean, if you were waiting for 2 weeks.
I mean, some people like to get the news from us. I'd like to believe that some people enjoy getting the news from us, even if
Yeah,
it is like secondhand or first hand, either hand.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, even but it's fine. Like even without the state of play information, we can probably speculate about what's going to be shown there later.
Oh,
We still have plenty enough to talk about. So let's just jump right into what we already were alluding to. So we have been talking about this movie, but now really movie for Uncharted, and I was because it's been like a decade now that they announced that they were making an Uncharted movie.
I
I
think
never
so.
believed that they'd ever do it. Like I heard some cool, interesting things allegedly being the case about the movie, but yeah, they dropped a trailer
Yeah.
for this Uncharted movie. So we got to see little Tom Holland be Nathan Drake with Matt Damon as Sully
No, Mark
and
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. Wait, why did I say Matt Damon?
I don't know. Matt Damon.
Yeah, so Mark Wahlberg as Sully, which I kind of don't hate. I kind of like him
The
as
funny
Sully.
thing is he was cast as Nathan Drake when they started this venture. So like because so much time passed, they had to push him into the Sully role.
So I heard something. Yeah, so I heard something else as well. Not that one. I mean, that one was like I think that one was like public knowledge like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Um, but this is like from way before. So apparently, when the ball was starting to roll, like way back in the day when they first announced it, they
Mhm.
actually did approach Nathan Fillion for the role
Really?
and because like this was like realize this was when Uncharted was first getting off the ground. So I think the first game was out and it was doing like decent numbers. So they were already trying to get like the movie version off the ground. And they approached Nathan Fillion, and Nathan Fillion was like, "No, I don't want to do like a video game movie because that is because at the time, video
Yeah.
game movies had like the
Yeah.
most abhorrent reputation, right?
Yep. I,
Especially like video game stories themselves.
I
So
think
he
like the
just
only successful thing was Resident Evil, the movies.
yeah, and those sucked. Like I
Yeah.
saw clips of that one today and was like,
But
"Yeesh!" That
I,
was bottom of the barrel.
yeah, but at the time it was considered a success because it brought in a lot of money.
Yeah, it's because the normies watched it.
Uh,
uh, but yeah, so I mean, understandable. Nathan Fillion was like, like he wasn't interested in it. And then the years went by, and then he found out that like Uncharted is like this big franchise now, and he saw like the actual games and the stories, like
Yep.
and the stories they were telling in the Uncharted games, and he was like, "That is so cool! I
Yep.
want in on this." And it was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's you
You
already
had your
said no."
chance,
So
yeah. And then he did like
he
the
was,
fan movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason. So again, this is allegedly what I heard. I don't know this for like 100% fact. It's not
Okay.
at this point. It's like single confirmed, no double confirmation.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it's
but it seems
plausible.
very exactly. It seems
Yeah.
very credible, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if that's true, like,
Yeah. I mean, like the Metal Gear movie has also been in development since 2008. I mean, I can imagine that it's been hitting roadblocks because all sorts of reasons. And now I think I forgot the guy's name, but the guy that directed Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know if it's the same guy, but he's supposed to
mm,
do the Metal Gear movie as a director, and he's also a big Metal Gear fan himself. So he's supposed to be the director now, but that's like 2 or 3 years ago that we heard that he was involved, and we still haven't seen anything.
yeah. I still don't think that that movie's gonna happen. But then again, I thought the same thing about the Uncharted movie. So
Yeah,
yeah. I will say this though, because I recently played through like the first three games. I still need to play four. So like none of the scenes ended because I heard people are like, "Oh yeah, this is like from four," and it's like, well, I don't know because have
yeah,
yet to play four. So the scenes that I do recognize, like specifically the one from the plane scene from Uncharted 3, I was like, oh wow, they like are paying homage to that scene because it's not
yeah,
like shot for shot, but it is very super duper similar.
yep,
Except they're not flying over a desert; they're flying over a tropical ocean with like small islands covering it and stuff. And there is this really fun like exchange that he has with this Scottish security guard who's like has this really thick Scottish accent, and he says like something to it. I forget what the line is, but it is so thick and funny, and like his reaction is like so Nathan Drake.
yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
okay, like I think the kid can probably pull it off.
I would. It almost sounded, but I know it's not the same actor. But it almost sounded like in Uncharted 3, you have another supporting character that helps you out. I think his name is Cutler. Is the bald guy, the
Yeah, yeah,
British
yeah,
bald
yeah,
guy?
yeah,
I almost thought it was him because he really sounded like him. I was like, what is this, like a cameo? But I know that the voice actor is a completely different person. But
yeah.
it triggered that memory. Like, is this Cutler? Is this like a cameo that the guy's making? You know?
Yeah, but he wouldn't be an antagonist in this scene, and this was clearly someone who's
No, I
like
mean like
out
the
to get.
the voice
Yeah.
actor is making a cameo, but he sounds
Ah,
like
okay, that's what you mean. Yeah,
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 yeah. Because I think for sure, and some of the voice actors will definitely make a cameo appearance in the movie. I think that's like a
yeah.
certain thing.
Yeah, maybe. Like I know that the Nolan North was on the set.
Yeah,
Like he was actually on the set, and like they did a little thing,
that was a couple of months
like a
ago that
promotional
they did.
thing that was a
Yeah,
couple of months ago. So maybe he makes a cameo. That would actually be
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even in the Super Mario movie, the animated one by Illumination has a cameo from Charles Martinet, who's like the voice of Mario and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi.
yeah. Is that all
So
done by one person?
yeah, you
Oh
didn't know
wow,
that?
no, of course
Yeah, he
not.
does Mario, he does Luigi, he does Wario, he does Waluigi.
Wow,
I think he does a few more voices, but I'm not 100% sure which ones. Like very
okay,
minor other stuff. But
wow,
those are like the main characters that he voices. Which is kind of funny because if you hear his Mario and then you listen to his Luigi, like his Luigi is like way more animated.
mm,
Which is kind of funny, but it also makes sense because Luigi's like the more animated brother,
mm-hmm.
especially if you play like the Luigi's Mansions games because he's the main character, so he has to emote a lot more as a
Yeah,
main character because Mario like is very stoic if you
yeah,
really think about it. Like
yeah,
outside of like his happy go lucky attitude. Whenever it's like a mainline thing, like if you look at say Super Mario Odyssey or Galaxy, Mario has way more stoic scenes in those games than he does in any of the other games. Like if it's like a 2D platformer or the Mario and Luigi RPGs, it's like way
Hmm.
more bubbly. But like mainline 3D Mario games, like more stoic.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So when is this movie supposed to come out again?
February next year.
It's gonna
It was already supposed to come out this year, but it
be.
got
Yeah, I got delayed
postponed
because of
because of COVID. So.
yeah, yay COVID.
Mm. And I also saw some pictures off of the set of the Last of Us TV show, and I am convinced that Pedro Pascal will play a convincing Joel. I'm not
Hmm.
convinced that I think her last name is Ramsey. Something the girl from Game of Thrones plays a girl from Game of Thrones plays Ellie,
Hmm.
but is I don't know is like a likeliness thing, and I mean with Pedro Pascal they've really been able to get that likeliness in there for Joel, but with her I'm like, I mean you can give
Well,
her the
maybe she'll act appropriate
yeah,
because she can't always get cast someone who looks exactly like the character.
yeah,
As long as they can portray the character well,
yeah.
fine,
Yeah,
right?
so yeah, it's looking promising. So I don't know if there's a release date for it. I would suspect next year since they're shooting it now, and TV shows generally, if you shoot it the year before, you generally release the year late after.
Hmm.
So I'm expecting that, but it looked promising. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I saw a few of the shots that we were talking about. It's like, okay, they're at least they're trying to nail the feel of The
yeah,
Last of Us with this show. So that's very exciting.
yeah.
Um, I I'll hold my reservations until I see the whole show.
I
I'm
have
not gonna
a
say like it looks good or it looks like particularly bad or anything.
I have a
Um,
bigger hope for this because Neil Druckmann is involved as a writer, and the producer of Chernobyl is involved. And Chernobyl is, I personally think, one of the best TV shows that came out in the last few years. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I
it's
have not seen it, but I've heard plenty of
it
people
it
talking
is
about it.
really good. So I mean, like, is like a star-studded support team in there to help out make the movie, the TV
Mhm.
show really good. So I I'm how do you say that? I'm excited.
Yeah, I would say I'm more cautiously optimistic about it. But
Yeah, we'll see next year.
yeah, speaking of stuff that's gonna happen next year, so you actually came with this one to me first because I hadn't seen it yet. And that is, of course, the delay that Advance Wars 1 plus 2 Reboot Camp
Yep,
got till spring 2022. This game had a fixed date of
yep.
December 3rd. I was so excited. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. It's my Christmas present to me. I'm super excited. Let's go. And then that dropped, and I was like, whoo, if you're not giving us a new date and you're just giving us a season, there's probably way more things going on with that game than
Yep.
we thought.
Yeah.
It might be that it might be COVID. It might also be that the game is just not ready yet for prime time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's well, I'm not hoping that it's the former because that would mean that people are sick. I'm hoping that it's just polishing stuff, or at least if there's something fundamentally broken with the game, it's something that they want to fix, or they're just trying to polish it up as best they can. Because I do know that the guys at Way Forward, or sorry, the people at Way Forward, are
Whoops.
way more and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Are way more are super duper talented, and I know that they can like make a good game. Like they made the most recent game that they worked on is the River City girls like beat 'em ups, and those games look super duper tight. And I heard like all good things about it. And I still haven't picked it up yet. I should because I love beat 'em ups, but I still don't have anybody to play them with. and I do not remember if they are online co-op. I kind of forget. But yeah, I mean, you know, WayForward has a good team. Um, I'm sure whatever it is that's causing the delay, they'll tackle it, and we'll get the best version of that game that we can possibly can from them. Outside of that, I guess we just have to be patient.
I mean,
Uh,
this year was supposed to be. Um,
but there's not. That means there's nothing in terms of like Nintendo games coming out at the end of the year, because it was this Super Mario Party, which is coming out this week.
it's already out, right? I saw people already buying
Mm,
it.
maybe somebody got like a review copy, but it doesn't come out until the 28th.
Really? I saw somebody already having a copy, or maybe that's like an older version. But I saw a Switch box with Super
Oh,
Mario
but
Party on it.
anybody can make a Switch box. Like you just
This
print out the
person
cover.
isn't that talented.
Wow. Okay. Dang. Not talented enough to work a printer and like just copy paste from the internet.
To sell it, to like make it believable, no.
All right, fair. But again, maybe they got a review copy or something because
Yeah,
it doesn't come out until the 28th, unless
maybe a
which
retailer broke a street date.
that's way too early. They don't get those kinds of shipments mostly until like 2 days before.
Really?
Because Nintendo, yeah, Nintendo's like super cautious and stuff like that. If
Mhm.
they were able to get that stuff like a week in advance, first of all, kudos. I don't know what kind of like supply chain you're on, but kudos to you. But if you're breaking street date a week early, you will never get stuff from Nintendo ever again. If
uh,
they trust you enough to keep that stuff under wraps for a week and you break street date anyways, man, you do not deserve to like get stuff like early anymore. Because then you're just ruining it for the rest of them. I do know that the game apparently got leaked.
really?
I saw something about a leaked game. I'm assuming that's the game because like there are no other Nintendo games coming out outside of that and Advance Wars, and Advance Wars got delayed. So there's no way there's an advanced copy of, pun not intended, of Advance War.
Okay, I believe you.
So yeah, I mean if that's the case, then but yeah, I mean Super Mario like Mario Mario Party's Super Mario Party Superstar, or whatever it's called. Um, Great. Like it's a remake slash combination of like the first three Mario Party games. No motion control, so that's nice, and online play for the entire game, which is great for once. Speaking of, I actually think we talked. I mean, we talked about this the last time because we had the Animal Crossing Direct happen then. But people are very salty about the price of the expansion pack for Nintendo Switch
I
Online.
saw that, but it's like $50, right?
Yeah, so in the US it's $50. Here it's 40 euros.
But it's still a
And
lot.
yeah, I mean,
Not yeah, yeah. It's a lot. Because you know why
mm,
people are triggered. I think why people are triggered because Nintendo Switch Online doesn't cost anything. It's like dirt cheap, and now they're adding this expansion, and it's like expensive.
yeah, so the rumor has it that the reason why it's expensive is because they had to pay Sega like a lot for the Genesis
I can
titles.
imagine. Yeah, I'm not surprised
Yeah.
if that's the case.
Yeah. Because they also have to like deal with, because their lineup has like a lot of third party games, so they have to like they also have to deal with licensing the third party games so that they can be on the service. And that's why Nintendo has to pay Sega a lot, because Sega also has to pay the third party publishers for their games being on the service.
Yeah.
It's like this weird chain of like payments going on there.
Okay.
Um, and like people are like, yeah, why does the Sega stuff need to be there? Why not just put on the Game Boy stuff, or Game Boy Advance or GameCube or whatnot?
Are people actually waiting for the Sega stuff? I honestly thought they were gonna do N64 and Game Boy stuff.
Yeah, everybody also thought they were gonna do N64 and Game Boy stuff.
Yeah,
Even I was like, yeah, it has to be that. Nobody expected the Sega Genesis stuff, the Sega
yeah,
Mega Drive stuff. Nobody, not even me. And it's like,
yeah.
it's cool. I mean, there are some cool games in there, but to be fair, a lot of those games you can already play on Switch with the Classic Collection,
Mm, okay,
which is like this a la carte thing that you can just buy. So it's kind of weird.
okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, at least you also get. I mean, for those that are interested, you get the DLC for Animal Crossing with it, which great, which means I don't have to pay $25 yet. I might do it down the line, but for now, I'll just get the expansion and it comes with it. Plus, I get to play N64 games. I'm still like I so one of the launch games for this service, because by the time you're listening to this, the service is live. Um, it's a game called Winback, which I had never heard of. And I did a poll on like my Twitter. Not a lot of people reacted because I don't have like a really big following, but the people that did react, most of them were like, "Yeah, Winback what?" Like I think there's like only one or two people that were like, "Yeah, I heard of Winback, but I never played it."
Okay, wow.
Why? Like, who asked for this game?
Uh,
Like, at least we're getting Banjo Kazooie down the line and Majora's Mask, and that's all fine. But we already have better versions of Link's of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the 3DS. Why don't we just get a port of those two games?
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope we get some more fun games. Like personally, if they brought Snowboard Kids to the surface service, um, I would be ever so grateful. So
I'm not surprised that you
At-
say a
Atlas,
game
Sega.
nobody's heard about.
No, people have heard of Snowboard Kids more than they have a freaking Winback.
I personally would be really happy if they brought Golden Eye to the N64
Yeah,
service.
never gonna happen. Never
I
gonna
know
happen.
it's never
You
gonna
know.
happen, but like that shit would make impact.
Rumor has it that Perfect Dark might actually come to the service.
Really? But
Yeah,
like people want Golden Eye.
I know people. Here's the thing: people want GoldenEye because it's GoldenEye.
Yeah,
People would prefer Perfect Dark because it's the better of the two FPSs.
yeah. I only played
Because they
Golden
did a
Eye. I
lot of
never played Perfect Dark. So
like Perfect Dark has a lot of improvements to the gameplay
yeah,
and to the gunplay. So it's like, I mean, yeah, like GoldenEye is purely nostalgia stuff, like
yeah, yeah,
100% pure
yeah.
nostalgia stuff.
It's only nostalgia.
But at least with like Perfect Dark, I can see that being like they can improve upon the game.
Yeah,
Um, and since all these games also support online multiplayer,
yeah.
that's very nice. I'm happy that at least right out of the gate we're getting Sin and Punishment, which is like one of the best games on the N64. Um,
Never heard of it.
yeah, that's because it was at the time a Japan only game, and then on the Wii, we finally got it on the Wii Virtual Console for the first time. Because it never made sense for that game to not come out in Western territories. For one, the game has minimal menus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the menus are even in English for the most part. And there's voice acting, and all the voice acting is in English. There's no Japanese voice acting.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was weird that it never came out. It did get a sequel that did get released worldwide on the Wii, which is also really good. Would also be nice to have that on the Switch somehow. But yeah, the developer for it, Treasure, is not that big. I mean, they're a decent size, but they don't put out games as often as they used to.
Mm,
I mean, even back then, they didn't really put out a lot of games because they really take their time to make their games, and their games are always like super polished. So
that's good.
yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's like I get where people are coming from one point of the thing, but also my thinking is that they might add more DLC packs to the service in the future for other games. So, like for example, like Splatoon 2 had a DLC, and we're getting Splatoon 3. So we might get like the future DLC also might be a part of the expansion pass. So you might they might do something like that where at least for their games, if there's DLC for it, that they might add it to the service.
They
That would
better.
be really nice. But I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things that people are kind of split behind, but like
I think it has to do with that the price for the normal stuff is just so
majority
low.
of people really hate the price.
Yeah, but like I think that's kind of the situation you created yourself because you offer the base service for dirt cheap. Like
Yeah,
I mean, people buy PS Plus or Xbox Live Gold and they know they have to pay $50 a year for it or $60 a year for it. And then Sony generally has, for example, I know Sony has offers that you can get a whole year instead of 60, you can buy it for like 40, you know? They
mhm.
do that a couple of times a year. And Microsoft publicly told them, "Hey, we have like this loophole in which you can get really cheap Game Pass Ultimate for 3 years if you use
And it
this
comes with
loophole."
live.
Yeah, and it comes with live. And then at least with those services, you know, like you get PS Plus games, you get cloud save. I mean, you get all sorts of other stuff. And then with Game Pass and Xbox Live, you know, like okay, I have the best multiplayer infrastructure in the world, and I get loads of games and games with gold. Seriously, don't understand why they still have that
Mhm.
next to Game Pass. So you kind
The
of
games
know,
are not even that good with games of gold.
yeah.
They're
So
like
like,
these like super low tier games.
yeah. So like, as a consumer, you know what you're getting into. You know, you have kind of that, you know, the value proposition. But with this, I mean, like when they announced it, I was like, the cheapest they're gonna offer this would be $30 minimum. They can. There's not. It's not gonna be like $15. It's not gonna be that. You know. It's like the minimum that they're gonna charge is $30, and no, well, no, the whole freaking community is in uproar.
Hmm.
But
I don't
hey,
think they're gonna change their price. By the way,
no,
just
no, no. I think
letting
they're
it
too
happen.
proud to
People
do
can.
that.
I don't think it's a pride thing. It's because stuff is calculated into the price very specifically.
Yeah, but like they
And
could take the
this is
loss.
this is probably like the minimum they could charge for it without. Well, I don't know if they actually.
They,
I don't
they
know if they could.
they could take the loss. I mean, like Microsoft takes a loss on Game Pass, I think, with some things. You know.
Yeah, but Microsoft is like a way bigger company. Don't
Oh,
get me wrong, Nintendo is a big company too. It's
Nintendo
just
has shitloads of money. I mean, like you don't get to where you are by pulling off tricks like artificially inflating games by bringing out like the Mario collection and saying, "Oh, it's gonna go off the market in March." I mean, like that's bad. That's just bad stuff. You know, that's like a bully move. Okay, so don't come in here preaching your holy stuff. No, 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 no. That's a bad.
easy there, Chief.
That's a
Easy
big
there.
no no. That's a big no no. I mean, if
Easy
Sony
there.
did that, they would burn down Sony HQ. Stocks would
Mm.
plummet overnight.
Yeah, but Sony has other stuff. Like Sony and Microsoft both have other stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. But like Microsoft can be if a couple of months ago, the whole thing with Xbox Live Gold becoming more expensive. I mean,
hmm,
people were in uproar, and within 2 days they switched back.
yep. But that's Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely.
But we know that some companies never change, and some companies might listen. I'm still not sure if this counts as them listening, but people's requests are finally possibly being answered with the announcement of a new Splinter Cell in the works.
Well, it's not even an official announcement. It's like a
It's very
rumor.
early. Like it's very early.
It's a rumor.
Um
It's a
yeah,
rumor
I
that
mean,
they have greenlit a new Splinter Cell game, which obviously means it's early, but
yeah.
it's no official announcement yet.
No.
And I honestly, I think we talked about this. My initial feeling was joy, and like after 5 minutes, it was horror because I thought the Ubisoft of today will not be
is
able to do the fans a service by bringing out this game because the game will be riddled with bugs and issues when it comes out. Then they'll
and
fix it.
DLC and microtransactions.
Yeah, so live service galore, microtransactions. So yeah, I mean, people should not get excited for this stuff.
Yeah, especially since we already know that Ubisoft said that they are refocusing their efforts on on live services.
I mean, if Assassin's Creed next year is called Infinity and the rumors are true, where you have this world in which you just buy like, storylines with your real world money and you customize your experience, I mean, if that is already the direction for their biggest franchise, then, it doesn't spell anything right for the rest.
You know what I just realized when you said it in that way? They are freaking Abstergo.
They are.
They are freaking at this point because
They
that's
are.
literally isn't that literally the whole deal with like the Animus?
Yeah.
Like you can like because I mean, and I'm talking about the Animus post like the trilogy.
Yeah.
So basically, like basically from like what's the game that came out of after not after Black Flag? There was one more.
Unity. It was in the French
Yeah. So
Revolution.
yes, exactly. So Unity was the first one that was like, "Welcome to Abstergo. You get to experience this blah 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 event."
Wasn't that
It's
in
like,
Black Flag already? I think in Black
was
Flag as
that
well.
Black Flag?
Yeah, I think it's Black Flag because in
That
Black Flag
might
you
that might
played
have
like
been
a
Black Flag.
nobody.
Yeah.
You were like
Yeah.
a random cubicle guy that sat in an animus, and because everybody did that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's where Ubisoft has
Yep.
landed on right
Yep.
now. Oh
Because
my
I
gosh,
mean,
that is
like,
so insane.
if they announce Prince of Persia and they push it twice, that already says enough. If they announce X Defiant, whatever it's called, and the response is super negative. If they announce recently a battle royale Ghost Recon, and the
And that thing gets pushed back
yeah,
indefinitely.
the technical alpha gets pushed, that says enough. People are like, just
People
give
are
us,
done with this.
yeah, just give us. Like, I'm gonna give credit to them. Ubisoft is the only one that is able to has been able to pull off multiple live services. Because if you look at EA, they only have FIFA. If you look at
Mhm.
Activision, they only have Warzone or Call of Duty. But if you look at Ubisoft, they have For Honor, they have Assassin's Creed, they have The Division, they have Rainbow Six Siege, which brings a lot of money in because they do the
Mhm.
tournaments and the expansion passes and whatnot. They're doing
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon. They're doing Riders Republic is coming out soon that has live services,
Mhm.
which I'm
Yep.
surprised because there's like a whole trial going on for that game right now, and I'm like, oh, but the game is not even out yet. What are you doing? This is weird.
Hmm. I'll
Yeah,
have to check that out.
so they have like 5, 6 live service games, and I mean, it's successful because people drop money for in that stuff. So yeah, I
And we
mean,
still
like,
haven't even hit abstraction yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if people, the problem with this is, if people keep on spending money, then the big companies were like, oh well, this is working, so we should just focus our efforts on this because people want it because they spend their money on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait,
So,
which one was the last one again? Was it Double Agent?
that's a good
Splinter
question.
Cell?
No, 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 no. Double Agent was the one they released on the PS3. I think it was Conviction.
Is it Conviction? Gosh darn it. I know because I have the Wii U version.
Yeah, it was
Because I
you
have the
play
Wii
as
U version for
a younger Sam Fisher.
I forgot.
I love the last one. The last one was so good. It didn't have Michael Ironside in it, but it was really good.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Hmm.
I love the marking system.
Blacklist. Is it
Blacklist. Oh,
Blacklist? No, sorry, that's 2003.
no,
13. No, that's not it. Is it? Is it Blacklist?
I don't know.
Fuck, I do not
You
remember. Gosh darn it. Yeah, I know. I have to believe myself.
But
Fantastic.
anyways, yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know if Ubisoft is gonna do a Ubisoft Forward this year. Maybe they'll announce it there. Um, I I think we're still gonna get
Hmm.
the Division expansion for this year. Maybe they hinted at. Maybe towards the end of the year.
I think
Uh,
they are doing a Ubisoft Connect because I saw something about that, like, oh, like it's the 1 year anniversary of Ubisoft Connect, blah blah blah, and over there like patting themselves on the back. It was like, this is not something to pat yourself on the back
everybody's
for.
doing this. Yeah,
Exactly.
theirs is just less cringe.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
and it was Splinter Cell Blacklist. That was the
Oh,
last one.
Blacklist. I like
Yeah,
that one. I like
2022.
the marking system that you could, you could mark enemies and then he would like in a really cool way take them out.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
I did not get really far, like in the first mission.
that's okay. I finished it. I loved every second of it.
I might have to like set up the Wii U and like try it again, but
You should, if it's on GeForce now, you should play it on PC. I played it on
is
PC.
I'd I'd have to buy it first, I guess.
Ah, wow, it's
Uh,
probably like a couple of bucks.
I mean, I'd have to check GeForce now,
Yeah. Talking
but
about
pretty much.
GeForce now.
Oh, yeah. I don't know whether to be happy or kind of disappointed with this one. Well, okay, happy in the sense that they have added a new tier to GeForce Now, which is the GeForce Now 3080.
Yep.
So the regular ones, I think, run on. I don't remember which ones they run on, but basically you get,
2080s.
yeah, they run on 2080. So you still have ray tracing with it
Yep.
if the game support it. Like the up and coming Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, which apparently is doing really well in terms of reviews.
Yeah.
And looks really pretty. Like I saw some footage from that, like
Yep.
PC footage and like PlayStation 5 footage. Like it looks
It looks really
really good,
detailed. Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Dang. Um, but yeah, uh, it's this new tier that runs on 3080s,
Yep. And before
which means
people
you're
freak
getting the
out, it's not consumer grade 3080s.
no. These are server grade
Yeah, this is
3080s.
something completely else. So it's not like
Yeah,
they're siphoning off
hoarding.
production for this. This is something completely else.
No, they had these specially made,
Yep.
and yeah. So this tier allows you to play with something with super high fidelity. You finally get 4K because GeForce Now up until this point has been 1080. Um,
But I think the
you
4K is
you
only
can
if you have a
if you
shield.
have a Shield
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
but you do get 1440, which is something
Yep.
that you don't get right now
Yeah.
with the base one,
Yeah.
which is great. You get way better service, but it is $100 for 6 months.
Yep. And you get up to 120 FPS. So it's all they've also reduced the latency. So
Yeah,
you should be able to play competitive multiplayer. I'm not buying
yeah.
it.
So if you are playing Destiny through GeForce now you can play it even better.
Yeah. If you're playing Destiny at all.
There are still people playing
I know.
Destiny.
Destiny has a loyal following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure how they feel about stuff getting vaulted recently, but
But
yeah,
they've been
there they
open
are.
about it. That's been their strategy for
Oh
years.
yeah, yeah. It still doesn't make it any less better, though, in my opinion. Uh, because people paid for it. It's like paid content that you're not just like, yeah, we're just gonna put it in our Bungie vault, and we'll bring that back out when we feel like it.
What in the end, you're paying for a live service. So like the money you pay for it is invested, and it
And other
helps them.
stuff.
Yeah, helps them create new content. Yeah,
Yeah, as long as the new content is good, and I've heard it's kind of rocky.
I've
Some
stopped
stuff
playing
that they
Destiny
that
years ago.
stuff some stuff that they put out is good. Some stuff that they put out is meh.
Uh,
But to each their own. I don't play Destiny 2, but I've seen some people play it, and I'm like,
yeah,
ah, gosh, maybe I should at the very least try to base through GeForce Now again and just see if I can get into it.
yep.
So yeah, I mean that has been so in euros it's 89, so it's 90 euros
Hmm,
for the 6 month, and I am very tempted to do it because as a founder we get first dibs, um, which is nice because they're
uh,
still pre-order. It's not launched yet.
okay.
This new tier, so they're doing. pre-orders for people that are in the founders category, and then after that is like the regular pre-order. Um,
The plebs get their pick then.
the plebs, the people that didn't invest
Yeah.
early like I did.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm like, that is. I mean, it's really cool that they are able to do this, and I really want to experience it.
But do you have 1440p display? Otherwise, you
No,
won't notice the difference.
I don't. But on mobile, I don't know about the web version.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the Android version right now because iOS does not have an app.
No, but you
They
can do it
did
through the
say it's
browser, right?
120, yeah, through the browser on my phone.
Yeah.
Um, but they did say mobile does support up to 120 frames per second.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that is nice if you have a phone that supports that.
Yeah.
I don't have a phone that supports that either.
Okay.
So I can't even do 4040p. It's like, and at this point, I'm like, just like, that's fantastic. Where's the Switch app? I know you guys are partners. It's kind of crazy that GeForce Now is still not available for Switch, and yet we're getting all these games that are, like get the cloud version, with
Yeah.
like Hitman and
Guardians
Control
Guardians of the
and
Galaxy.
and Guardians of the Galaxy and like Kingdom Hearts. Like they're all getting these cloud versions, and you still have to pay full price for them.
Yup.
I'd rather just have my GeForce Now on my Switch and just play my PC games.
Basically turn it into a Steam Deck.
Basically, turn it into a Steam Deck that you can't take anywhere else, otherwise it won't work. But at least I
Yeah.
have it on there.
Yeah.
Plus, plus I have the sweet OLED now, and which, oh my goodness, we have to talk about the OLED in a bit, but we'll do it in what we've been playing because,
I am a huge promoter of OLEDs, so
oh man, we will talk about that in a bit. But there is one more thing that I want. There's actually, I think,
we still
yeah, I
have
think
stuff
there's
on the
one more.
list, like the
We still have
EA
stuff on
stuff.
the list. Do you want to do the EA stuff? Because yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
it's easy. So apparently there is some bad blood between the FIFA and between EA because I think FIFA gets 150 million from EA for licensing the FIFA license, and it's a deal
Every
to
four
do
years.
every 4 years. And now the FIFA wants 1 billion for 4 years, and EA is like, we're not gonna do it. And the reason that the
Obviously.
yeah, and the reason that FIFA is acting up is because EA wants to take the FIFA license in other directions besides the only game they make, and the FIFA is not comfortable with them doing that. The funny thing is the EA deal is the most lucrative deal that the FIFA has. From what I read, it's their only source of income. Uh, because the FIFA is like a foundation. It's not like a company or
Yeah, fair,
so
fair.
like this is their revenue stream because otherwise they're like a governing body, so they don't have money or don't need to make money. Um, and so the funny thing is EA registered a new name which was EA Sports FC or something or Club FC or FC
Hmm.
Club, which is like a horrible name.
Yep.
And I mean, I cannot imagine EA saying, okay, you know what? We're not going to pay you, and if you don't want to give us a license, fine, then keep it. We're just going to do our own thing because then you get into the realm of that what you had with PES or eFootball as it is called now. Because people always you had like the people that played PES, like I was one because I just
Hmm.
liked the way it played, and I of course I wanted the license is in it, but it was like the sacrifice you make for the better gameplay. So like,
Yeah.
and people would always say, "But I play FIFA because it has the names." And now
Hmm.
you're going to get in that territory that the FIFA game is going to become, but I want the names, you know? So I don't see EA doing that because that will cost them a lot of money because people
Hmm.
buy FIFA for the names. But at the same time, um, they can force the FIFA and say, like, we're going to give you 200 million. And if you don't want it, fine, we'll just take our money. And then the FIFA will be like, but no, but then we lose our money. So it's like, they both are dependent on each other. But for the first time, EA is in a stronger position to kind of strong arm the FIFA. It's just
Hmm.
a matter of will they do it or not, or if the FIFA will take a firm stance. They're like, wow, this could escalate into something completely different.
But on the other hand, they also like So I mean, part of it is of course they want to see more money, but part of it is also because they have, I don't know if their marketing leadership changed or anything, but
Yeah,
they want to diversify.
yeah,
They basically are like, well, we could probably get more money if more company if we can license it out to more companies, which friggin' duh, right?
yeah.
Like the biggest duh in the universe.
But I think that's
Um,
the part of the deal that EA is the sole exclusive rights holder.
I honestly would not be surprised if someone at FIFA saw what happened between EA and Disney with the Star Wars stuff,
Yeah,
and they were like, they might be onto something.
yeah. Yeah, because the funny thing is EA can easily spend the money because FIFA Ultimate Team on itself is a multi-billion-dollar product. Every
Yeah,
quarter they report on that it brings in billions in microtransactions. So like they could easily cover the cost. Yeah, I think it's more like if we give them a billion now over in 4 years they'll ask us for 3 billion, or it's maybe like a pride thing that they're like, no, we've
yeah.
always done this. We're not going to give them a billion. So it's like two bulls against each other, and they're both locked in.
They should have just kept making stuff like FIFA Street. It's so I don't understand it. They could
What?
have done like a FIFA Street every couple of years. It's not
Yeah,
something that they have to do annually,
yeah,
and they can have it be like fun. Like for example, EA, like was it EA, like NBA Playgrounds
yeah,
is like this fun like pick up and play basketball games, kind of like FIFA. It's kind of like NBA Street
yeah.
was, and it's a really fun thing to pick up and play. Like I have the first one on my Switch. Like I don't play it as often, but like
Mm-hmm.
once in a while I'll pick it up and be, oh, okay, I want to play some like b-ball.
That's nice. Yeah,
And like the FIFA Street stuff like was really fun. I mean, even the NBA Street stuff was really fun. Like the second game on GameCube had Mario and Peach in it, which was super weird because they were like their proportions were like super weird because they looked like one of the mascot costumes.
yeah.
It looked like that was play.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's just so weird.
Yeah. But like the funny thing is I don't understand why EA isn't taking the Call of Duty approach because every Call of Duty game that gets released has I think it's like a minimum development time of 2 years because they have multiple studios rotating working on the franchise. So like
Yeah,
FIFA is being made by EA Vancouver in Canada and they're the sole developer. So I don't understand why EA doesn't take a similar approach and say like, you know what, we're
because they
gonna
don't have to.
yeah, but the thing is like a friend of mine who buys FIFA every year, and every year I ask him like, "What's FIFA like?" And he's like, "It's really buggy. It's really crappy. It barely has any innovation." So like, why do you buy it? I like FIFA, and this is the only way to play it.
Again, they don't have to do jack. Like,
Yeah,
and this like the most egregious one of this one, right? Is the Switch version,
it's
the
yeah,
Legacy
it's
Edition,
horrible.
which is so bad because it's basically just roster updates,
Yeah,
and you still pay $60 for it.
I've heard it.
And it's like every time they put it in the notes, there's no change other than the roster. It's basically the previous year's version,
Yep.
which they said the previous year before that. Like
Yeah.
they haven't changed the game since I think the 2019 Legacy Edition,
Oh man.
and that was based off like the FIFA 18.
Oh man. Horrible. Yeah. Yeah. I
Engine
mean,
hasn't changed in like 4 or 5 years for the Switch.
they
Just
get
the
away with it.
roster.
Yeah, they
And
get
they
away
get
with
away
it.
with it.
Yeah.
But the review scores keep tanking because like the last one got like a 2 from IGN,
Oh wow.
which is funny because like the previous one got a 4. Oh man. At
Yeah.
this point you should just give it a 0 and like be done with it.
I wouldn't even review it at all.
Yeah, but they still have to because they get the review copies and they still have to play nice with EA. But that doesn't mean that they have to give it like a decent score
Yeah.
if it doesn't deserve it. So yeah. I really hope that changes come from this, like in a good way. Not anything that basically makes it worse. I hope that there's the diversity in like soccer games that
Well,
actually get
there
the
is
official
one
FIFA
game.
license.
There is one game that got announced this year at, I think, Gamescom, or at the opening night live event. I forgot the name, but it is made by a fairly unknown developer, and they're really passionate football enthusiasts, and their whole game is based on simulation. So what they've done is they've gathered a lot of data around football. And with that data, they have built their simulation soccer game.
Mm,
So the way they're pitching it is that it's supposed to change the whole football game because, it's been e-football or pass and EA with FIFA
yeah,
all for years, and it's not really moving in a specific direction or changing. So these guys hope to kind of shake up that field and hope to bring some necessary change. I hope they pull it off, but they're because they're fairly new and small and nobody's really heard of them. It makes it always difficult.
yeah, true. Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell.
Yeah,
Speaking of time, we finally got that thing that that was rumored for so long, and they finally gave us the time of day to show us a trailer. And of course, I'm talking about the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. Is that like the full title?
yeah,
Jeez, the friggin' Reeves Rockstar. Okay.
yeah,
Despite the name,
yeah.
it looks pretty sweet.
It looks really good.
And yet people gosh darn it, gamers. Gamers, let's unite and let's stop being so salty about everything. Not everything has to be exactly
We,
the way
we
you
have
think
to
it.
stop acting entitled.
Exactly. Come on. Like for like did you expect them to like build all three games from the ground up to make it look like GTA 5?
No, they
Because
said,
that's
but
apparently because that's apparently what people were expecting.
really, because they were like really clear in the communication. They said like we stuck to the original look and feel of the game, but we brought the graphics into 2020 or 2021, and they've added
That's the
quality of.
part that they got stuck on.
They also added quality of life stuff. So I think I'm not sure, but I think I read somewhere that they added the cover system that the GTA 5 has.
They added a bunch of like GTA 5
Yeah,
mechanics
yeah,
to make it a bit more palatable, especially in terms of like gameplay, which makes sense.
yeah,
Because a lot of people that are going to be playing this are people that played like GTA 4, GTA 5,
yeah. They've
instead of
never
the old
played.
stuff.
Yeah, they never played it because then
Yeah,
they'll realize how hardcore that stuff was and how
at least not in
annoying
its
missions were.
original form. It looks nice. It looks really clean. They
Yeah,
even like touched up some of the models.
yeah.
Some characters have like new character models. Like they definitely tweaked some stuff because now they have individual fingers instead of like
Stomps.
the weird like single finger thing where
That
like
their
it's
thumb would
supposed
always be like the single
yeah
finger. It would be like this. And then the funny thing is San Andreas
the
when that
mitten hands.
in San Andreas when you would be in those gang fights, they would be like bitches, and then they would have those guns and they would just shoot like this. It was like, oh, this looks horrible. This looks horrible.
Now it looks decent.
Yeah, I'm personally excited for it. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it because it's coming out digitally on November 11th, and then a couple
Yeah,
of weeks later in December, it's gonna come out physically. It's gonna cost
it's 60
60,
bucks.
yeah, $60, which is okay. I spoke to a couple of friends. They were like, "I'm paying $60 for this." I'm like, "You're getting three full games that you normally paid $60 each for."
Exactly. On the Switch, at the very least, from what I can tell, you can buy the games individually if you want to, or you can buy it in the bundle.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know if it's
So
possible on the PlayStation because I saw only the full pack on the PS Store.
yeah, I think the fact that you can only buy them individually is like a specifically a Switch thing.
Okay.
From what I read, I'm not 100% sure on that, but it seems like something that they would do because they've done it before
Mm-hmm.
with other games. Like for example, like the Naruto Ninja Storm trilogy. Like you can buy it as a bundle, or you can buy like the individual games.
That's nice.
Even though on like other consoles, you could only buy them in the bundle.
Maybe
So
it's like
that's
a
nice.
requirement from Nintendo to
I
be
guess,
sellable on the
yeah, I
eShop or
guess,
something. Like, yeah,
yeah, because then you have to deal with smaller game files.
yeah.
Even though like the whole trilogy is like 13 gigabytes on Switch.
Really? Wow.
It's not that surprise. Like we think that those games are surprisingly big, but don't forget, those games were PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah, on a
They weren't a
DVD.
gig big. Like
Yeah.
at best, they were like 700 megabytes.
Well, I'm not sure, but like it was on a DVD, and a single layer DVD was
Okay,
4.7
maybe like a
gigabytes.
yeah, 4.7 gigabyte. Okay, fine. But they retooled it and they like compressed the stuff. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
funny because I saw that, I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy, like on PS4 is around 60 gigs, and on PS5 is around 30 gigs because of the improved compression technique on the PS5. So it's like
Hmm.
you just save half the space. I just hope that they do that with Warzone because that's still like 180 gigs.
Yeah. Speaking of Guardians, apparently the ray tracing is not enabled just yet on the console versions, but it's coming in a later update. So
Oh, okay.
if people are hoping for ray tracing stuff on the consoles, they have to wait just a little bit longer. But if you have it on PC, it runs fairly well, especially if you use DLSS and don't put like the ray tracing on like the highest ridiculous settings,
Mm.
which apparently doesn't really add much to like how it looks. Like if you put it, I think on ultra, which is like you have ultra, super ultra, and then you have like ultimate or something. Like the first tier and then like DLSS on gives you like 70 75 frames per second,
Okay.
but with like really nice ray tracing on it.
Mm.
So
I mean, I want to buy it. I'm just not going to buy it now. I'll just pick it up in a sale. But I definitely
hmm.
want to buy it. Play it.
Yeah, I mean, dang it, I really hate myself because now I kind of want to get it on because it is on GeForce now, so I might actually like
Get it
wait
on
for it to
PC.
exactly like get it on there. So
Yeah.
but then it's like, so do I get it? So I do I also sign up then for like the 3080 for the 3080 or just keep like my current founders thingy, which is also fine. It's 1080p and still has the ray tracing. So
Now there, I'm gonna act like I'm like we just talked about plebs and stuff like that. 1080p is so for plebs. I only do
oh
four.
please,
I only
oh
do
please,
4K these days.
oh please, please with your 4K. But anyways, I think that's about it for the news because otherwise we could
Yeah,
go on like for forever.
yeah,
So stick around and we'll be right back with what we've been playing.
yeah.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the second half of this podcast, which is, of course, what we've been playing. So, Sean Templar, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a few things. So, Back for Blood came out, I think last week, and
Yeah, how was
it's
that?
yeah, it's day one in Game Pass, and I just got Game Pass for PC and played it with a friend of mine. It's made by the same people that made Left 4 Dead, and it really feels like Left 4 Dead, which isn't a bad thing. They've added some stuff, to make it differently, like cards, and I think like the director from Left 4 Dead, the enemy AI that shuffles up the game and makes it harder and harder for you is also in here. It's also called the director, and it has kind of like a skull system, like in Halo, where they can activate certain perks for the enemies so that they die harder, or that there's more mist in the environment, or just to make your playthroughs harder and harder. And you as
Is
a
that the card system?
yeah, so the director has cards that he or she or it throws into the mix to make it harder for you. And you where's my camera cutting out?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and the players also have cards they can use, which are like perks, so like faster reload, or instead of a bash, that you get a knife, so you get a knife kill every time, stuff like that. And then you can earn points by playing the missions and collect resources, and then you can upgrade those cards or unlock new cards. So progression there. Ooh. Um, I personally like it. Is on PC, for example, it's really well optimized. It supports DLSS, and I'm just running it at 4K 60, I think Ultra, um, and it's just like buttery smooth. It plays nice. It looks nice. It is definitely a game you need to play with someone, I think, or like if possible with four people, because that would make the experience even more fun. What happens is you just get match made with random strangers, and if the strangers drop out for any reason, they get replaced by a bot. Cool thing is if you, for example, die and you go into this, you lay down and you have your pistol and you can shoot enemies until you get revived. But if you die there as well, then what will happen is your character will randomly respawn in the environment and be captured by the zombies, so that you need to you revive or you bring your friend back to the game by freeing him from, or her, from zombie capture, which is kind of a cool
Mm.
mechanic. Um,
Okay.
there's weapon customization in it. I don't think it transfers over. So, like, if you fail a mission, then you go back and then you don't have the weapon customization. So you have to like buy the attachments for the weapons again in the game shop. Um, for some reason, there is no the way it works is you start a run. So you pick a mission you want to do and you start a run for it. But for some reason, we played on hard, and if we were to die, we couldn't continue our run. We had to start a new run. So we got into this part where we got chased by this massive zombie boss, like a zombie giant, and he just kept killing us. So we had to start all over again constantly. Uh, so there is like a form of a checkpoint system in there, but it's not really clear to me how it works just yet.
Mm.
But yeah, it's fun. I played it for a couple of hours. I'll probably jump back into it again this week. Um, Besides that, I finished Mass Effect 3. I yeah,
Yay!
it
Finally.
took a long time. It took me 25 hours or something to finish it. Which, and I
No,
only
that's
did
not that
like,
long.
I did the main missions and the some side missions. I had like this optimal game mission structure list that I followed. Um I know somebody that put like 50 hours into it. So
Sounds normal.
yeah, I like the ending. I didn't have any issues with the ending. I remember back in the day it had like a huge backlash about the ending. I thought the ending was okay. I chose the blue ending, which is
The
the,
Paragon.
yeah, the Paragon ending. Um, yeah, I mean the funny thing is because you're playing the Legendary Edition, the DLC is kind of woven into the story. Whereas if you played it at the time, you would have to wait for the DLC. So I had these moments in which I was playing some DLC without noticing it, and then the funny thing is like Shepard is like this super serious character, and in one of the DLCs, something happens, and then I thought it was like a dream because Shepard was all of a sudden really funny, and he was like
Mhm.
really being a smartass and making these remarks. I'm like, is this Shepard? What's going on here? This isn't the Shepard I know. He's always super serious, super stoic, like, oh, I'm here to save the world from the Reapers. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And now he was just being funny, and he actually made me laugh a couple of times. Like, what is going on here? So that was a nice surprise to have that DLC in there. Um, but yeah, I finished it and I removed it from my PlayStation instantly because the whole collection takes up 100 gigs. You cannot like individually delete a part. I'm like, I don't want this stuff taking up space on my PlayStation.
You
Uh,
still haven't gotten the hard drive?
no,
Still
I'm
waiting for that heatsink?
yeah. So I saw like a company called Sabrent. They make SSDs for PC and all sorts of other stuff. But the cool thing is they came up with a unique SSD heatsink solution. So how it works is that normally you have this plate covering the SSD expansion bay, and then you slot
Mhm.
your SSD with an heatsink in there. What they basically did is they made like a heatsink that is part of the cover. So instead of putting the old cover back, you just put in the heatsink on your SSD, and then it's automatically also a cover that goes over the bay, so it dissipates heat even better. And it's really inexpensive. It's like I think 20, maybe 30 euros. And
Why isn't that a regular thing?
I think Sony didn't think about it because they engineered it like a couple of months ago. It's
Hmm,
really cool.
okay.
When I saw it, it's like, whoa, this is really cool stuff. But it's so popular, everybody buys it. So I'm just waiting for a good Black Friday deal on an SSD because I want a 1 terabyte SSD, and I'm thinking about the Western Digital one. But it's is like around 200 euros for a Tera, and I think that's a lot of money. So I'm just waiting for a good Black Friday deal. I might end up buying the Samsung 980 Pro, but the Western Digital SN850 one is like the most recommended one, unless you want to spend crazy money and buy a Seagate. Um, so for now, I'm just playing games and then deleting them from my hard drive. Um, and yeah, I bought the Death Stranding Director's Cut the other day, and I'm playing that now. And it's just I'm still amazed at how beautiful that game is, and it runs at 4K 60 FPS. Um, it's the funny thing is if you run it in quality mode, it
Hmm.
runs at native 4K, and it tries to get to 60 FPS, which it most of the time does, but it has dips here and there. If you run
So
it
it's
in
not locked at 60.
No, so if you run it in performance mode, it just does checkerboard 4K, but has a locked 60 FPS. But here's the funny part: there's a widescreen option in the game, which just introduces black bars, makes it more cinematic, and it
Hmm.
has a bigger field of view. If you have that enabled and you're in the quality mode, then you get native 4K and a locked 60 FPS because it's rendering it in a smaller frame.
Right, right,
So
yeah.
that's how you get 4K 60 FPS natively. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. So I'm playing that now, and I'm not far along. I'm just past the part where I'm out of Capital Knot City, and I'm trying to get to the first waypoints to add them to the chiral network. So I'm like really
Okay,
early in
so
the
you're
beginning.
still you haven't reached the distribution center in the first area.
I just reached that one.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool.
yeah. So I'm like there,
Yeah.
and it plays really nice. It's cool that it has DualSense implementation, so you can feel the DualSense when you're walking around in the environment, or when you're carrying, like when you get close to the weight limit, then you feel tension on the DualSense because you have to keep them pressed for the balancing stuff.
Yeah, for it on the triggers.
Yeah, and the triggers, and there's of course sound effects coming from the DualSense. So it's really nice. Load time's pretty fast. It's just Death Stranding. I mean, I love that game.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it to people if they haven't played it yet. Um, I haven't. I was also. I started playing Yakuza 3 last time, a couple of weeks ago. I think I mentioned it in the last
Yep,
episode.
you
I
did.
haven't played any more of that. I will go back to that soon. Um, I'm actually looking forward to Age of Empires 4, which is coming out this week. I think so.
Also getting good review scores.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played the. I was under.
Is it
I was under
is
embargo,
it
so I
isn't
couldn't.
it is it wait, under embargo for what?
I was under embargo for Age of Empires, so I couldn't talk about it. But I played it like a while back, and I really liked it.
Ah.
Yeah, it was really
Oh,
good.
that's what you were teasing.
Yep. Yeah, it was really good.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. It had like
Nice.
these really small quality of life improvements that make such a huge impact on
Mm.
playing it. So, like for example, your villager, if they if they don't do anything, so normally you wouldn't be able to easily spot that, or you would have to like look really closely or something. And now you would just get a notification like your villager is doing nothing. And like it's such a simple thing, but it makes such a big impact.
Hey, lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
Get
know.
back to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. You'd probably be a dictator, but but yeah,
Nah,
that's basically. Oh, and I've also been playing Rome Total War again on my tablet. And
of course you
that
have.
works. I mean, like I never finished that game on PC, and I finished my first actual playthrough on that game on my tablet on a mobile version, but it works so well. Just like with a touchscreen, selecting units, dragging around, it works so well. I'm like, and with that, I'm always like, let me just play this for 5 minutes, and then suddenly it's 3 hours later. I'm like, oh crap! I just spent 3 hours on the couch playing this game. Oh,
Growing the Roman Empire.
I have indeed. And that's basically what I've all been playing. What have you been
Mm.
playing?
Um, well, it's been a while since I played Persona 5, so I probably should get back on that. I would if we weren't getting some new Animal Crossing stuff, which now basically meant that I've been spending the past couple of days, almost a week now, trying to make some space for new farmland because now you can farm vegetables and stuff on your island when the DLC drops. And you can now have DIY cooking, so you can actually make food that you can eat that looks surprisingly good for something called Animal Crossing. Um, I am gonna get the expansion pack, so it comes with the paid DLC, the Happy Home Paradise.
Yeah.
Mostly because I want the tools to decorate the house a lot better, and like has a bunch of like flourishes and stuff, which is nice. I mean, I can also pick up the DLC separately, but I feel like if I'm getting the expansion pack, might as well get like the full experience, since I am paying that much more for it. So that I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot on my OLED Switch, and I'm like, gosh darn it, it's like this is what the Switch screen should have been like from the beginning,
Yep.
because it is so gosh darn pretty.
I know.
And like games look so much like some games look marginally better, but some games like really get more immersive.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls looks so good on like the OLED screen. I don't know why it looks so much better.
Probably
It
because of all
just,
the colors and the OLED screen adjusting properly to it. Because it's like a
I guess,
gray, darky color scheme, right?
exactly, yeah. And like the same thing goes for Metroid Dread, of course, looks like
Yeah.
freaking brilliant on it. And Animal Crossing just Animal Crossing looks good, like really good on the OLED. It's like I put it on the TV like recently. I'm like, wow, these colors kind of look washed out. What the actual crap?
But
Like,
that's like the
because
tricky
I
part.
don't have
Like,
an OLED TV.
if you have like but that's always the tricky part, like if you have a device that has a really great screen and then you go to another device that doesn't have a great screen, you like immediately like, oh, you're like, whoa, what's this, you're like, you're suddenly you're posh, you're spoiled, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, it's so
Yep.
crazy
Yep.
because I don't have an OLED TV, and
Imagine
I'm
how
like,
that is. what,
I'm
what
like
I,
contemplating getting one. It's like,
what I personally love about my OLED, and that's the beauty about an OLED, is like I got mine in 2018 and it was the 2017 model because I deliberately bought it because it was $1,000 cheaper than the 2018 model. And the difference is like really small because it's always been incremental in the last few years.
mm,
But the image quality still to this day is amazing. And what I personally always like is like when I start up the Netflix app, the screen goes all black, and then you only see the
you
Netflix
see the
logo. So it's
Netflix
like only
logo.
the red of the Netflix logo,
Yeah,
and everything around is pitch black. Because normally with an LCD, it would bleed over. He would see this
yeah,
glow around the Netflix logo. But here it's like, well, gosh damn, that's nice. And when I watch something like Drive to Survive in HDR on it, it's like my eyes hurt because it's just so vibrant and so vivid. I'm like, ah, it's just that amazing.
yeah. I mean, good grief, it is like the Dark Souls logo looks just like so. It like it's floating in the screen
Yep.
because it's just surrounded by pure blackness.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
just gosh darn it, it's like it's such a. And then you imagine a more powerful Switch,
Yeah.
which is something that I hate to discuss. But then I imagine a more powerful Switch running games even prettier than that. I'm like,
Yep.
well, dang, that actually would be even cooler.
I saw
Um,
rumors the other day that they are working on a Switch successor and it's going to come out either next year or the year after.
I don't
Uh,
think it's gonna come out next year because the OLED just
yeah,
launched.
yeah, yeah, but like, it is basically the Switch Pro that they're talking about, like from a hardware point of view with DLSS and the whole shebang. And I'm like, that would make sense. But the funny thing is it was
There was another rumor.
there is this known Nintendo leaker, Nate the Great, or Nate Hate,
Nate the Hate.
Nate the Hate. He broke the news. He said that this Switch successor wouldn't be backwards compatible initially, and that they're working
Yeah,
on a way to make it backwards compatible. I'm like, whoa,
that
you
like
you
if that's
can't do
true,
that, like Nintendo. If you do
you
that,
you,
then
you can't do that anymore.
yeah, then
Yeah,
shit hits the fan.
yeah. So I gotta hope that Nintendo is like working on that. Maybe that is the reason why that got delayed.
I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, we probably wouldn't have gotten an OLED Switch. We would have just gotten a Switch Pro or whatever with an OLED screen and a better CPU. But I think because of the whole supply issues and constraints, is probably the safest bet to just say like we'll just do an incremental upgrade instead of going full blown consoles. Because look at what Sony and Microsoft are dealing with. They're still unable to have supply in stores.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I talked to someone quite recently and they were like, "Yeah, I am still trying to get like a PlayStation 5 and it's been almost a year."
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah, because I don't even think some retailers take pre-orders. Because if you go to Game Mania, you cannot pre-order there. So like either their lists are overflowing, or they just eventually decided not to do it.
I think you can only pre-order in the store now,
Yeah, I went to the
not
website like
online.
last week, and it didn't mention any. It said we're not taking pre-orders at this moment. I'm
Oh
like,
right, you're
oh
right. It also said they don't take pre-orders at the store either.
yeah, and like the only way to get it, I think, is you got to get lucky with a drop. You know, when a ball does it, or a Cool Blue does it, or I don't
Or
know,
net game.
net game.
Yeah, apparently I mean it's not like the only thing because the OLED Switch also is having the same thing. So it's
Funny
like,
thing
well,
with that is
obviously
though that
the
when that came out, I
they are
saw
getting more drops though.
yeah, but like I expected that to be scalped, and it didn't because I saw, or maybe like I saw like a moment capture or whatever, a momentum as you call it in Dutch. It's like I
Mhm.
went to tweakers, and you know I I keep an eye on it, and I saw like PS5 is still going between is the average price is 500 for a digital edition, and between and generally 600, 650, maybe 675 for a disc edition. So that's like the average price. So let's say you pay 150 bucks more for a disc edition PS5, and then for Xbox is of course lower. But I saw Switch OLEDs for MSRP. Like people were
Yeah,
selling it for
I heard.
380, and I was like, "Huh? What's going on here? Aren't you supposed to scalp this?" And people were like, "I
Yeah,
got
but see,
two. I just
that's
want a
the
separate
thing.
for
It's
normal
that's
price."
the Netherlands because I'm checking eBay right now, and in the US, it's going for 549.99.
Yeah, yeah. So here I was completely shocked. I was like, "Huh? There's still
There's
some."
nothing here that's MSRP.
Yeah,
Everything is like
there,
400 and above.
there was some goodness left in people.
Oh wait, there's one that's selling it for 310, but
Um,
it's bidding, not
yeah, it's probably
like
auction.
for the auction. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, that
yeah, it's crazy. Outside of that, what else have I been playing? I have been
I saw you
playing.
playing Genshin Impact.
Yes, yes, I was playing Genshin Impact. You caught me. You caught me. But
It's not
that's
like
mostly because I want to
a
continue this.
sin to play that game. It's okay.
Nah, but people like I haven't spent money on Genshin except for like once. I spent once, but then that the only reason I spent money on it is because I won like this gift card a while ago, and I still had some credit from that.
Okay.
I was like, well, it's like $6. It's like I'll pay for this. Um, so I did that. This was like this like day. It's like when you get the daily reward stuff
Hmm.
for like a month. So I did that for a month. It's like okay, cool, whatever. That's why I played it on and off. I played some Kingdom Hearts because Sora is out on Smash. I played Smash, of course, and Sora plays really nice. Broken from here to Kingdom Come, but it's still
I
fun to
thought
play.
I thought Sakurai was this amazing perfectionist dude that spent hours on it, perfecting it, balancing it. That's what you
Oh yeah,
literally said last time.
I'm pretty sure he does, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a preference.
Okay.
And clearly he had a preference for this one because Sora be broken, man. This dude floats. This dude has like a double recovery that he can chain, which is insanity. You still need to like really get the timing down, but dude, like if it's not like an instant KO, if it's not like an instant like just off the screen, you can probably always come back to the stage and just like take revenge as Sora. It's crazy.
Ah,
Yeah, it's been a like also playing it on the oh gosh darn it, the OLED is so good. The screen is just so good. Uh dang it, I need to like do some research on like OLED
well, the
TVs.
best one to get is an LG OLED because they. The funny thing is all the OLED panels are made by LG Display, which is like a part of LG, the conglomerate, and they sell the displays to the panels to LG Electronics, who makes the LG
Mm,
OLED TVs, or Sony, or Philips, or whatever. There's like they're the biggest player.
yeah.
And we've come to the point where LG has been able to offer OLEDs at such a affordable. I mean, like it's still a lot of money for the TV. Let's be honest. But like if you compare it to the level they're on offering it, like I think you can get a quality OLED TV for like around $1,000, which is still a lot of money. But if you consider that you're getting an OLED TV for $1,000 and it's a TV that you'll be able to use for like I have mine for 3 years. I'm heading into year four, and I still love my TV. Because normally with an LCD TV, you'll just start to notice a drop in quality because colors will start to wash out, the screen will start to bleed around the corners and whatnot.
Mm,
But this is just all pure black and pretty and vibrant colors and contrast. Like I had one issue with it that I had a dead pixel, and I reached out to the store that I bought it, and they were like, "Oh, it's within spec," and I was like, It's not within spec." So I called LG, and LG said, "Oh, yeah, sure. Just send a picture of the issue to us through WhatsApp." I did that, and then the technician just called me and he said, "Yeah, it's a dead pixel. We're going to replace the panel for you. I'm going to order a new panel for you, and then I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to replace it on the spot." I was like, "What?" And then within 2 days, he was at my place, and he came in to change the panel because he called me the day before. He's like, "Hey, the panel arrived. Do you have time tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he came in within 45 minutes. I had a new OLED panel, and it's been humming and purring ever since. So like the service is also great. Yeah.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and I mean, like, it's this. To be honest, Sony makes the best LG, the best OLED TV because they add a lot of extra processing power and sauce and stuff to it. But
Mm,
I personally don't think it's worth spending extra money on it. I mean, if you look at reviews, a lot of people say like, "Yeah, just get the LG OLED, man." As a
yeah.
matter of fact, I wanted to buy because I have a 55-inch now, and I wanted to
Hmm.
buy the 48-inch for my bedroom because I could use it for streaming and for watching TV. But I think it's a little bit too big because like I'm supposed to
Isn't
sit.
that like the smallest size you can get?
Yeah, but I knew that they were working on a 42-inch, and it
Mm.
was supposed to come out this year, but they said like it's going to come out early next year. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy that one when it comes out because if I'm going to stream, like this is the like you can't see it, but basically like
Yeah,
this is the distance I'm sitting off of my screen. So
if
like
you're watching the YouTube version.
if you're watching the YouTube version, so like the 48-inch would be too big, So the 42-inch is perfect. So I'm
Yeah,
like, just gonna buy that OLED. I'm gonna pop it in my bedroom. I'll hook up another PS5 and just gonna stream off that. And if I'm not gonna stream off it, I'm just gonna watch TV.
yeah, exactly.
And
That's super chill though.
and LG should
Um,
definitely give us a commission for selling all the OLEDs we just did by people listening to this podcast. So you're welcome, LG.
I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but do I did hear that allegedly the OLED panel in the Switch, because
Yeah.
usually like Nintendo gets their displays from Sharp, like they have this like
Hmm.
really long standing
Yeah.
um like partnership with Sharp,
Yeah.
and like the original OLED screen, or the original Switch screen is also from Sharp.
Yeah.
Apparently, the OLED screen is from Samsung,
Yeah. Because Samsung makes. The funny thing is Samsung doesn't make OLED TVs because they were like,
but does make smaller panels.
Yeah, because they were like,
Yeah.
QLED is the way to go. But apparently next year, Samsung is going to come up with its own OLED TV, which is going to blow the competition away.
Oh.
Um, and but they're like a huge supplier for small screen OLEDs, like for phones and tablets, and in this case, switches. Um, they dominate that market, and the funny thing is LG is not dominant in that market on a small screen market. So it's really funny because you say like, if you own the big market, you gotta own the small market.
Yeah, that is the Nintendo approach.
Y- Yeah.
Ironically. Yeah, so that's have I played anything? I've played like a bunch of small things here and there, just testing stuff on my OLED Switch, of course. But
Seeing how
that those are
pretty it
like
all
the
is.
main, like some games you really notice it. With some games it's like okay, like I think I talked about it the last time. Like Downwell looks amazing because like it's mostly just black and red. If you're playing with the regular with the, like you have different like color palettes that you can choose
Yeah.
from. So I chose like the last time I played, I was playing on the Game Boy palette. So it's like this doesn't look any different. I was like, oh wait, I changed the palette to Game Boy. Let me change it to the original colors, and it's red and black, and like it's like so black, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Ah,
Yep.
anything with black, the blacks in it, or like very vibrant colors in it,
Yep.
it just it pops and it looks
Yep.
clean and sharp.
It's like the colors are
It's
popping off of your screen.
yeah, I'm sorry, I keep coming back to the gosh darn OLED. It's just it's so pretty.
I
It's
know.
so pretty. It's
I
prettier
know.
than my own TV.
I know.
And now like I've had this because I have an iPhone 10R, and like I've had it for years and I've never had a problem with it. And you like the first time I got it, you were like, "Oh, why did you get that one? That doesn't have an OLED screen." I was like,
Yep.
"I don't care," and in fact, I really don't care. And then I got the OLED Switch. I'm like,
I
well,
do
gosh darn
care.
it! I think I need to start. I think I need a new phone because I can notice. Because now I notice the stupid blacks that are not
Yep.
truly black now.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
darn it! And
Yeah.
which is funny because I have a Vita and I didn't have the same problem with the Vita. Like the Vita screen is great. It's not the same screen as the OLED
No,
Switch. It's
because the
like
Vita was like early OLED,
early
and
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
and OLED's come so far in those years.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely. I mean, like Murder Master the Demon Blade still looks amazing on like my Vita, but now I kind of want it on my Switch so that I can play it on the OLED Switch and just have it look really good and sharp.
Yeah.
Like the like 2D stuff that has like really vibrant colors is like really nice. Like even I didn't even expect that. I just expected like 3D stuff to like really pop.
Hmm.
I didn't expect 2D stuff, like really very meticulously crafted 2D stuff to look amazing.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. And of course I've been streaming. I've been streaming Secret of Mana again.
Doing
Um
all the voices.
doing all the voices because of course I do. I got stuck a little bit on like this double boss thing,
Yeah.
and I kind of figured it out. The problem was that I hadn't upgraded my armor, so I've been grinding offline. So the next time I'm going to be streaming, um, I'll have way better gear and I'll be a higher level. And hopefully this time I can get through the boss battles because they were really because the first boss battle is really annoying because it takes up way too much magic to use, and then I do not have enough magic to beat the second boss, which barely touches the freaking ground. So you have to use magic or you have to use a ranged attack, and you have to time it exactly when he touches the ground. If he's not touching the ground, you can't hit the stupid vampire bat.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's such a stupid it's the only one of the few bosses in Secret of Mana
Yeah.
that back then and to this day still annoy the crap out of me. Like the game
So
is great. These vampire bat, like there's multiple of them. It's like this is the first encounter with a vampire bat. There's one later in the game. I'm not looking forward to I'm not looking forward to this one. I'm not looking forward to the other one. But at least with the other one, I will be more stronger. I'll have more magic and I'll have the specific element that defeats that boss. So I only have to do like a few spell blasts and then it's dead, but that still doesn't make it any less annoying.
nodding and smiling. Nodding and smiling.
As you do, as you do. So I guess with that we have reached the end. So Sean Templar, will you do the honors?
I will try my best. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Game Rivals. You can find us on your favorite podcasting platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast. you name it, we're probably there. You can reach us through email, gamerivalsfeedback@gmail.com. We're available on YouTube as well. The video version, it goes up at the same time that the audio version goes up. You can find a link to it in the description for the audio version. Um, it has the same name generally as the audio version, so you can also probably look it up on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter, game_rivals_. You can find Maximilian over at Twitter at Maximilian. We both stream twitch.tv/Maximilian_X and twitch.tv/Sean Templar. When are you streaming again?
Well, if you're listening to this when this airs, I've already streamed the day before. I might actually stream the day of release as well.
Okay.
And I won't be streaming on the Thursday because I have something to do that night. But I might stream again Friday afternoon.
Okay. Well, that's nice. Plenty
Um,
of opportunities to see you
Plenty of
do all the
opportunities,
voices.
and basically I stream, or at least I try my best to stream every Tuesday and every Thursday. What I stream depends on my mood, so I might just default to my favorite, which is Secret of Mana, because I haven't finished that one yet, as you just heard. Or I'll be playing something else that I feel like playing. I might be playing Animal Crossing when that update finally hits, so you'll see my island. If you haven't seen it in the previous stream, I streamed Animal Crossing a little bit after um, the Animal Crossing Direct, which was fun. People got to see my island in its current state, which was full of weeds and flowers, which is a really weird image to see. I've made some changes, and I'm still making changes until the update and the DLC hits.
Nice.
So there's that.
Yeah, and if you're more into a zombie slaying mood, I am streaming Days Gone. I think I'm finally getting to the end, so I will be streaming this Sunday. I generally stream on Sundays. So yeah, if you feel like seeing me freak out with freakers, haha, feel free to join. We're also on Instagram at Maximilian_X and at Game Rivals. And
There
uh,
is one more thing that I wanted to share.
yes,
Because if you are a listener of the podcast and you listen through Spotify, Spotify, or at least Spotify added a new feature where we are now able to ask you, the listeners, a question through the latest episode. Um, if you feel inclined to, there will be another question up uh, with this episode. If you're listening to it, you'll see it. Um,
what is the
what
question?
well, I was thinking, considering that we talked about Splinter Cell,
Hmm.
or actually, no, I was thinking Splinter Cell, but I think we kind of beat that one down. My question is actually, if you've seen the Uncharted trailer, what are your thoughts about it? Did you like it?
That's a good
Did
one.
you like the cast? Did you like the casting?
Yeah.
Um, It'll be in the episode, so you can just go to the episode. If you're on Spotify, you will see you'll see like a neat little question mark there that we have a question. You can just click on it and leave your response. And if you leave a response, we might even read it on the next episode of Game Rivals.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a nice one. And I think that's it. So on that note, I have been and always will be Sean Templar,
And I have been and will always be Maximilian X.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.